All right, boys and girls, welcome back to our second video in a series on estimating or rounding. Our learning target today will be I can estimate the same number to both the nearest 10 or 100. Let's review a little bit first to get our brains warmed up before we learn the new skill today. So we're going to review the strategies we learned before. The first one was to round using a number line. The second one was the mountain or hill strategy. And the third one was using the rules where we circled and underlined and then used the rules to decide whether the number was going to stay the same or round up. Here's some examples for you to try. We're going to round these to the nearest 10, so go ahead and pause the video, use whatever strategy works for you, and when you're ready to check, restart the video. The first number we have is 82. I'm going to circle and underline, so here's my underline, and here's my circle. The ones digit boss is this number. I know it's between 80 and 90, so 82 is closer to 80. 41 is between 40 and 50. The 1 tells me that this digit is going to stay within that group of 40 tens, so the answer is 40. 65 has a 5 in it, so I know that that rule tells me that 5 or larger, I'm going to have to go up to the next largest 10 number. So this is between 60 and 70, and I have to go up to the next tens, so the answer is going to be 70. 38 is between 30 and 40. The 8 tells the 3 that it needs to go up, so the correct answer is 40. Hopefully you got all those right. If you didn't, you may want to go back and watch the first video and do some of those practice problems or have your parents help you by giving you some more problems before we move on. We also learned to round to the nearest 100, so here's some examples for you to try. Remember, we're rounding to the nearest 100, so like for this example here, 300 is going to be between 300 or 400, and you're going to pick whichever number it's closest to using whatever strategy works for you. So go ahead and pause the video and solve these, and then we'll talk about them. So 478, this time I'm rounding to the nearest 100, so I'm going to circle the hundreds digit and I'm going to underline the tens digit. Tens digit bosses the hundreds digit, so a 7 tells me I'm going to go up to 500. So that's the correct answer. On this one, I know that 862 is between 800 and 900. This is the digit that I am using to boss my hundreds digit. So it tells me the 6 tells me I'm going to go to 900. Here's 531. Underline and circle. This bosses. The 3 tells me that I'm going to stay the same. So I'm either going to be 500 or 600, so the correct answer is 500. Hopefully you got all those right. Again, if you didn't, you can rewatch the first video or ask your parents for some more examples. You can always ask me for help at school too. We'll be doing lots of examples there also. Okay, our new skill involves rounding the same number. So you can see I have 426 written down twice. So go ahead and write that example on your paper down twice. We're going to round this example to both the nearest 10 and the nearest 100. So we already know how to round to the nearest 100. So we're going to do that first. So I circle whatever I'm rounding to. So we're rounding to the nearest 100. I underline the bossy digit. The bossy digit tells the 4 to do what? Stay the same. So this answer is going to be 400. Now, I might want to get more specific. So I might want to round a number to even a 3-digit number to the nearest 10. So since I'm rounding to the nearest 10, I'm going to circle this digit and I'm going to underline this digit. Okay, when I do that, I just write the 4 down, and you can take your hand and cover up the other digit. Now all I have is a 2-digit number. Well, 26 is really easy to round because I know that it's either going to be 20 or 30. So I just have to decide. The 6 tells me that I'm going to go up. So then this number becomes 430. So you can see that I rounded the same number, 426, to the nearest 100, which was 400. And I rounded got a little crazy there. Okay, I'm just going to slide it away from the box. I wanted to move the box, but that didn't work. 426 to the nearest 10, which was 430. Sometimes it's okay if we're just in the ballpark, but sometimes we want to be a lot more specific. So that's when it would be beneficial to round to the nearest 10. All right, let's do some more examples. So I'm going to round this same number. This time let's do 382. So write that number down twice. The first time we're going to round it to the nearest 100. So remember, I circle whatever digit I'm rounding to. So the nearest 100, so I'm going to circle the hundreds digit. I'm going to underline the digit next to it. We already know how to do this one, so you go ahead and do it. I hope you got 400 as your answer. Now we're going to round this one to the nearest 10. So the hundreds digit to the nearest 10. So remember, I'm going to circle what I'm underlining or what I'm rounding to, which was the tens place, and I'm going to underline the digit next to it. Now really what I do is I just take that 3 and I write it down. Then I can ignore it. So I'm going to take my box and put it over it because all I want to look at is 82 that's left. And now I'm rounding that to the nearest 10. So I'm going to take the 2 and it tells me what to do. Is it going to stay the same or is it going to bump the 8 up? Well, it's going to tell the 8 to stay the same. So I have 380. Let's do another example together. So I've got 421 the first time. We're going to round it to the nearest 100. So I said I'm rounding to the 100, so that's the digit I circle. Underline the bossy digit. It tells it to round the 2, according to our rule, tells it to stay the same. So 421 rounds to 400. Now I'm going to round this one to the nearest 10. So because I said I'm rounding to the tens place, that's the digit I circle. I underline the digit next to it. That's my bossy digit. I'm going to just write the 4 down, and then I'm going to forget it. And I'm just going to look at the 21. Okay, so I have 21. I know that 21 is closer to 20, so that's going to be my answer. Here's some more examples for you to try. So write down each of these numbers twice on your paper and round it the first time to the nearest 100 and then round it the second time to the nearest 10. Pause the video so that you can work those problems and then come back and we'll check the answers together. All right, let's check. You can see that I've written 852 down twice. So we're going to round the first time to the nearest 100. So I'm going to circle the digit that I am rounding to and underline the bossy digit. The 5 tells the 8 that we're going to move up, so this number becomes 900. Now I'm going to round to the nearest 10. So I'm going to circle the tens digit. I'm going to underline the bossy digit. I'm just going to write that 8 down, and then I'm going to forget about it. And I'm only going to look at 52. The 2 in 52 tells me I'm going to stay the same. The 5 is going to stay the same, so I get 850. Okay, our next number is 310. So 310 rounds to 300. If I'm rounding to the nearest 100. If I'm rounding to the nearest 10, then I'm going to circle that tens digit and underline the digit next to it. I'm going to write my 3 down, and then I'm only looking at 10. So 0 tells my 1 that it's going to stay the same. So my answer when rounded to the nearest 10 is 310. Our next number is 265. So rounding to the nearest 100, 265 rounds to 300. Rounding to the nearest 10, I'm going to circle my tens digit, underline my 5. I'm going to write my 2 down, and then all I'm looking at is 65. 5 tells my 6 to go up, so I should have 270. Okay, last number we're checking is 703. So if I'm rounding that to the nearest 100, it becomes 700. If I'm rounding it to the nearest 10, I'm going to write my 7 down, and then all I'm looking at is what is left, which is really 0, 3, or 3. 3 tells my 0 to stay the same, so I'm going to get 700. It is possible for a number to round to the nearest 100 and the nearest 10 and stay the same. So I hope you got all of those answers correct. If you didn't, then ask Mom and Dad for a few more problems for you to practice with. Another fun way to practice at home is to get dice out of a game that you have. one dice or multiple dice, but roll the dice so that you get 3 different numbers. Create a 3-digit number with those, and then you can round that number to the nearest 10 or 100. Playing cards work the same way. You could flip playing cards over one at a time to create your number. Aces could be 1. Take out your face cards. But that's just kind of a fun way to practice. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow where we can do some more rounding. Don't forget to bring your completed whisk with you. And I'll look forward to digging deeper into this concept. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.